Hello fellow wet shavers. Today I use Coniferous from Stirling and I talk about the Yuba County 5, California's most enduring mystery. Stay tuned. How's it going, everybody? John Bonham here, Cape Cod Wet Shaving. Good to see you again. It's been a long time since I've done a history shave, so let's get right into it. Coffee of the day, Black Rifle Coffee, Blackbeard's Delight. So this is a dark roast coffee with baking cocoa in it, baking powder. Not baking powder, excuse me, baker's chocolate. There we go, not baking cocoa, not baking powder, baker's chocolate. Very nice, I like it a lot. It's not too cocoa-y, too chocolatey, if that makes sense. It's coffee with a hint of chocolate, not chocolate with a hint of coffee, or fake tasting, which a lot of those kind of tend to be. So very good stuff. Black Rifle Coffee, as I've said before, I'm a big fan of theirs, and I like what they stand for with the donation to veterans and first responders and all that stuff, okay? And they're not sponsored, or they don't sponsor the videos. I just say this because I like them a lot. So go check them out. Anywho, so today's history shave, it's a little more known. It's not one of the very obscure ones like I usually do. However, it's very, it's one that I like a lot. I've always been curious about it. And people out west, you're going to know this hands down. So people out east where I am might not know it as much. I saw a documentary on it, and then I saw a YouTube documentary on it, and that really renewed my interest. So I decided to do that today. Okay. So before I get started, because of the topic I'm doing, I chose this set. It is Coniferous from Stirling. I'm doing the pre-shave oil, which I have on already. Matching soap. Getting messages already. Splash. And the balm. Alright? And I'm doing Stirling across the board. Doing my Stirling Badger fan brush. And my Stirling, I forget the name of this. It's like the second time in a row I've done a video and I forgot to look up the name of the razor. I was told this is now unobtainium. Stirling's razor, I have no idea. So if it is, cool, glad I got it. And I will even be using a Stirling mug. So I haven't used this before, I don't think ever. I just got this recently. I haven't used it on camera for sure, but I think it's my first time using it. So of course, should use it with a Stirling product. And Stirling green, Astra green, why not? The only thing I didn't do is put on the shirt, but I decided to rock this out. This is Gareth at the Shave Supply. This is actually his barbershop that he runs. He has a barbershop with the Shave Supply that he runs on the side. How you doing, Gareth? Really awesome shirt. My daughter liked it. So, all right, let's get started. There we go. Go ahead and keep my face a little wet. So the Yuba County 5 is a missing persons case that is 40 plus years old. It has not been solved. They haven't even come close to solving this. Real quick, Coniferous and Evergreen are two of their pine tree scents they came out with. Coniferous is straight up yellow pine, just straight up. In fact, on my Instagram, the Shave of the Day post, I try to go all out with a lot of my Shave of the Day posts. I actually went out and snipped off some branches of a conifer tree, an evergreen pine tree. And just for the hell of it, because I was out there with the soap and a freshly cut tree, I did a comparison, sniffing them, dead on. It's amazing how completely dead on this soap is, this set, to a yellow pine. So, again, because of the topic I'm talking about here, that's why I decided to go with it. Because this takes place out in the woods. I'm going to go ahead and get lathering, all right? So the Yuba County 5 is a disappearance that occurred on the night of February 24th in 1978. It involves the disappearance of 5 men who vanished in a California forest, as I aforementioned. Now, this did not have a lot of photos. A lot of the photos were kind of repetitive. It was just a bunch of lineup photos of the people involved in it. A lot of maps that were really just kind of too either grainy or detailed to show in a tiny little window here. So I have, I think, only 5 or 6 photos to show, which is definitely less than the norm, but that's all right. And there's a couple that I was afraid to show. There's a photo of a trailer that I wanted to put on here, and I was afraid I'd hit some copyright infringement with that because it was part of a California State Wildlife Archive, because it's an old photo and it's still an open case. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to mess with that. But here's a photo of the men involved. Okay, their names were Gary Matthias, Jackie Hewitt, Bill Stirling, Jack Madruga, who is also known as Doc, and a guy named Ted Weiher, W-E-I-H-E-R. That's not in the order of the photo, by the way. If I remember correctly, maybe I can go back and edit it. I might do that. Put the names of the guys underneath them, so at least I can do. Poor dudes. All 5 of these men had disabilities of one kind or another and mental conditions of some kind. Weiher had autism, and Madruga was described as a slow learner. Now, I do know in that photo, the bottom 2 photos of that one, okay? Let me actually do a rare thing and repost that photo. So the bottom 2, the one closest to me, that is Madruga. And he looks like someone familiar. I couldn't put my hand, like an actor. The other guy is Tobias. He looks like Adam Scott. Matthias, excuse me, not Tobias, Matthias. The guy on the other side looks like Adam Scott. For those who are a fan of Parks and Rec, he looks like, oh my God, what was his name? He marries Leslie Knope. There we go. Worked with Rob Schneider. Not Rob Schneider. What is wrong with me? I'm completely losing my mind here. Parks and Rec, not Rob Schneider. What the hell is his name? Rob Lowe. Wow. I'm all over the place here. What the hell was the character's name? Ben Wyatt. Good Lord. Sorry, guys. He looked like Adam Scott, who played Ben Wyatt in Parks and Rec. All that for that one sentence. My wife and I are obsessed with that show, too. That's what makes it even worse. But the Matthias is the only one they never found. Spoiler alert. So, their ages were as follows. Weiher was the oldest at 32. Madruga was 30. Stirling was 29. Matthias was 25. And Hewitt was the youngest at 24 years old. Every one of these guys lived with their parents. They were what we would call today special needs. And all of them were needed caretakers and all that. They were obviously high functioning. They could go out and do things on their own. The men had been on their way to a basketball game. It was one they were scheduled to play in, as it had been organized by the Special Olympics. They were supposed to participate in it. They were huge fans of basketball and sports in general, but they also participated in them because of the Special Olympics. Okay, oh, this stuff's so good. Oh, starting to fill the room. And it's not nasty like pine sol, like fake pine. It's as delicious. I smell like I just got inside from climbing a tree. I got the window open for extra light. So I'm looking outside. I don't know if my neighbors can see me. Talking to my mirror while I'm shaving. That's funny. Alright. The winners of this game would get a free week-long trip to Los Angeles. Okay, because of that, they were excited, and the men were dead set on winning this game. So they were hyped about it. It was all they could talk about. The parents knew that. The families knew that. And the reason I mention this is for what comes momentarily. Okay? Everyone knew how hyped up they were for this game. On thin, like usual. And I will thicken it up. So don't change that dial just yet. For those who are 40 and older who even know that TVs used to have dials, even though this is not a TV. Or maybe it is. How's it going if I'm on a big screen? Some of you will watch it on... It's funny when I see a screenshot of that. I always get a kick out of it, seeing my face on a big old 50-inch TV. Oh my God, geez. All right. So on the evening of February 24th, the men drove off with Madruga behind the wheel. Okay. Again, this is a photo of Madruga. Handsome dude. He really looks like someone. Maybe y'all can figure out who it is. He looks like an actor, and it's just bugging me. And I can't place who it is. Their destination was Chico, California, to first watch a game between UC Davis and Chico State universities. All right. There we go. Thicken that up. They were never seen alive again. Okay. They said their goodbyes, drove off. Never seen alive again. Their parents called police when they did not come home that evening. So that's why I was mentioning that game. There's no way they'd miss it. It's all they talked about is because the parents knew that there is no way they would miss this game or anything, or not come home, you know, obviously. Because again, they were special needs. So the parents called police pretty quickly, pretty early on with this. Now this story starts taking a very bizarre turn very quickly. Before I get to that, since I've already kind of talked about the soap a lot, I'm not really going to say much more except for, if you can believe it, Evergreen is not just Evergreen. Again, Coniferous is more of a yellow pine wood, outdoor in the woods, just climbed a random pine tree kind of smell, versus Evergreen, which is more Christmas tree. I like it more for kind of winter months. It reminds me of really more of the like hemlock, balsam, that kind of scent to it. Okay? This smells like tree sap that you get on your hands from a pine cone, if that makes sense. One thing I do want to mention is this is probably going to be a lot, I won't do a history shave for a while after this, a week or more, only because I have 3 sets, 3 or 4, that I promised I would do a video with. I'm excited to say one of them, I think I'm going to be the first person in North America to use this artisan soap. First one in the States for sure. And it's on its way right now from Italy. I won't say who it is yet. But I was very flattered to be the one to try it out first in the States. So I'm very excited about that. I have a set that was sent to me for free. I'm not going to say who any of them are. I just want to say it for the video, but I have a set that was sent to me for free, and then I have a set that I purchased, but the artisan sent me stuff along with that purchase for free in return for me doing a video with their product. And then there's a third one, and I think it is 4, that I want to do just to showcase it. So I will be doing that, but I'm going to try to squeeze in a video every 2 or 3 days. So it's not like 2 weeks before I do that, you know what I mean? So I'm going to try to do videos in quick succession and then work my way to a history shave. Because the one I have after this one is a World War II one, and I cannot wait to do it. Because I had never heard of it. I love I love World War II stuff, but when I come across something World War II that I've never heard, oh, makes me happier than a pig in shit, as we would say back home. Excuse my French. All right. So that's what I wanted to cover there. And for those who are interested, please keep an eye on my posts, my uploads, and my posts. So you know when I'm doing those. But those of you who watch this, who I just mentioned, you know who you are. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I'm very excited. Very flattered. Because I know there are dozens of guys out there who are much better at the review thing and all that than I am. So it means a lot to me. All right. Oh yeah, that's halfway through. It's my stopping point. Okay, they searched along the route they would have taken, but found absolutely no trace of the men. So the first thing the cops did, obviously, is they went and searched the road that they obviously would have taken to get to Chico. Not only did they not find him, they didn't find a trace they even went that way. Okay? And interesting point, they didn't. This is where the plot, as they say, thickens. Much like my lather, thankfully. There we go. I'm not sure if I like fan knots or not. I think I'm a bulb guy. I went and got their butterscotch. I've been wanting that one for a while, and they finally restocked on it, and I got it, and I was a little disappointed because they didn't have the bulb. And that's when it dawned on me that I was outwardly looking for a bulb knot, and I went, oh, I guess I'm a bulb guy. I don't mind fans. Fans are nice. I like the loft, the way it splays out, but I don't know. Just a bulb guy, I guess. Yeah, screw it. Let me get the mustache. All right, so a forest ranger told investigators, so the cops broadened their search because they couldn't find anything. They were like, what the hell's going on here? They were thinking maybe they'd find the car off in the woods. Now keep in mind, this is February. And this is up in the mountains of California. So this is like crappy time of year to be lost in the woods, in mountains. All right. So they ended up finding out from a forest ranger. A forest ranger contacted the police after I guess they put out an all points bulletin or something saying, hey, we're looking for this car. And the car was a Mercury Montego, a 1969 Mercury Montego. Very nice looking car, by the way. And actually, here's a photo of a 1969 Mercury Montego. Well, this forest ranger contacted the police and said, hey, we found a 1969 Mercury Montego. And it was on a deserted, completely random, lonely forest road with nothing around it. Okay? It was located in the mountains in a location called Plumas. Plumas? California guys, sorry. Plumas? I don't know. I don't want to call it Plumas. Which I know it's not that. I'm going to say Plumas. Why not? Now, I'm going to show you a map. I'm going to leave the map up for a minute. And I'm going to try to go from memory. I did look before I decided to do the video. I might have the dots wrong, but there's some points here that are important, okay? Because where the car was found and ultimately where the rest of the story ends up is very odd. So here's the map. So if I'm looking at this correctly in my head, you're going to have, was it Chico? Or Chico, whatever it was. Right here. That's where they were headed. I think it was Chico. And that's where the game was. There's the car, and you see there's a point called bodies, and then you can see these other points where they had left from and where they had lived and where they were going. Why the hell were they in the mountains here? Made no sense. They weren't even close. In fact, you can see where the town is flat. You can see all the roads, all that stuff around it. They would have known that they were going away from civilization and up, because you can see the mountains there. So it was very bizarre. Now you saw that other point that said bodies. It made no sense for them to head deep into the mountains. It was in the completely wrong direction and it had been snowing. Now the car was in a snowdrift when it was discovered. All right. There were signs that they had tried to free the car from the snowdrift. They had probably, you can see where they had been digging it, trying to dig it out. I don't know, underneath it, something like that. There were no keys in the car. They found that the car could have, with the 5 men, it could have easily been pushed out of where it was stuck. So it made no sense that they tried to dig it and then just gave up, because they, I think 2 or 3 of the police were able to push it out easily just with 2 or 3 of them. So 5 young men would have easily been able to get this car out. There were no keys located in the car. And this is kind of cool. They hot-wired it. Car started right up. And they discovered there was about a quarter tank of gas left in the car. So the engine didn't die. They did not run out of gas. And it was wedged. It wasn't even really stuck. Yet the car was abandoned. A search commenced but was called off 2 days later due to the snow. The weather just got worse and worse. And they weren't able to keep searching, so they had to call it off pretty early on. Searches like that usually last at least a week, sometimes longer. It probably would have lasted longer considering the men's condition and, mental facilities and the like. But they had to call it off pretty quick, okay? Now, in June of 1978, Wyher's body was found. All right? It was found in a trailer. So the photo I was talking about that I was worried about getting flagged for copyright was a archived photo of this trailer. Now, when I say trailer, I mean double wide, not like a little Winnebago that you'd hook up to the back of your uncle's Jeep. This was a big ass placed double wide trailer. It was huge. If you see the photo, it's meant to be there. It's kind of a portable ranger station. All right. It was a trailer at a campsite, and it was used by park rangers or others, but it was put there by the state. Okay. Now, he was wrapped in blankets and his feet were badly frostbitten. Due to the length of his beard, it was estimated he had survived for up to 13 weeks. All right. So he lived. He had been living in the wilderness. Found this trailer, wrapped himself up in blankets. Obviously, was barefoot due to the cold. His feet were frostbitten. And then it turns out he just died. Now, here's the weird part, okay? The trailer contained matches, supplies, heavy clothing, and enough food to have kept the 5 of them, not just him, 5 of them, all of them, alive for up to a year. So he stumbled into what should have been his salvation. However, the cause of death for this guy was hypothermia and starvation. He stumbled into a trailer loaded with enough food to have kept him alone alive for probably 2 years and starved to death. Very strange. Alrighty. Let me rinse this off, be right back. Alrighty. I remember Raj saying he likes his razors on the more aggressive side, I believe. Nicked myself a couple times. Brand new blade. What you gonna do? Not cut yourself. That's the idea. Alright. So, starved to death in a trailer loaded with food. Down the road from the trailer, police found the remains of Madruga and Stirling. Right down the road from the trailer. It was later determined they too had died from hypothermia, aka the elements and all that. It just dawned on me, I forgot the 3rd page. 1 second. All right. Forgot I had done a 3rd page. Oh well. Bleep happens. All right. Oh, yeah, that burns. 2 days later, Jackie Hewitt's remains were found. So that's 4 of them. All right. Oh, Wyher, Madruga, Stirling, and now Jackie Hewitt's. All the bodies, and all the men, had perished within 20 miles of the car, in a 20-mile radius around the car. Now Matthias, his shoes, strangely enough, had been found inside the trailer that Wyher had died in. However, he was not found. And to this day, his body has never been located, Matthias. Now, here's a photo. I wrote map, and I forget which map it is. I'll go back and look, but I don't want to. I have 4 maps that I had saved. I only plan on using 2 of them. So I'm not sure, as bad as this sounds. How professional, huh? It just says map photo. But there you go. That's in relation to the bodies being within 20 miles of the car. And then Matthias was known to be capable of traveling long distances on foot, as he had once escaped an asylum, poor guy, and had walked over 500 miles to complete his escape from this asylum. So he must have just left, found out where he was, and was like, oh, home's that way. Walked 500 damn miles, this guy. But there's a photo of Matthias with glasses. He did have glasses on the day they all vanished. That first photo of him was him wearing contacts, which I didn't know they had contacts in '78, but I guess they did. So he was a stout, rugged dude. So they're thinking that he would have lasted, I mean, that one guy lasted 13 weeks. That's crazy. But Matthias, they think definitely would have lived. And again, to this day, Matthias has never been found. No body, nothing. So they think he just went off somewhere on his own. Because again, 20 miles, no more than 20 miles away from the car, but Matthias, poof, vanished. Long gone. And today, it remains one of California's most well-known cold cases. A sheriff at the time described the case, in quotes, bizarre as hell. Which indeed it is. And again, it's still open. I think they had like 2017 something, they thought they had a break in it. I think they thought they had discovered a body. I think they found bone fragments somewhere, something like that. You can look it up. And it turned out to be a false alarm. I think it was an animal or it wasn't bone fragments at all. Something along those lines. It's very strange. And it's sad, you know, it makes you wonder what happened that night. What would make them leave and abandon a car that really didn't need to be abandoned. And again, obviously they had mental disorders, but not enough that they needed to be, you know, they were out on their own. They unsupervised. They were high functioning, able to do stuff like drive. So they obviously had problem solving skills, and they just decided to leave the car. Weirdest thing for me was the trailer was full of supplies. Unless he was just that close to death that all he had the strength to do was throw blankets on and lie down, and he just never woke up. But to have Matthias's boots there, that means he wasn't by himself when he went in there. So you think Matthias would look around and go, wow, you know, we're here. And then his poor compadre would pass away, and he himself would stay. Or did Wyher find Matthias's boots and bring them with him? Well, why didn't he put them on? So it's yeah, a bunch of what if. I brought a Gatorade too. I don't know. There's tons and tons of stuff online. You can go Google it. It's very interesting to me. Kind of a modern day whodunit kind of thing. Except not involving murder. Not a whodunit. You know what I mean. What if? Whatever. All right, that'll do it. Thank you guys very much for watching this, especially if you made it all the way to the end. Half an hour's a long time. It's a lot of your time, I know, to watch a dude shave. Hopefully you found this interesting. Again, that's Black Mountain Coffee. Blackbeard's Delight. And speaking of Blackbeard, I just got Kraken from Black Ship Grooming. I'm very excited about that. I haven't got a Black Ship Grooming set in a while. So that's en route. But all right, guys, thank you very much. Like I said, I'll be putting out some, not review, I'll be using sets and giving my opinion on the sets and stuff. So review-esque, we'll see. All right, that'll do it. Y'all take care. Thanks again for watching. Thank you for returning. If you've returned and watched another long history shave video, hope you found it interesting. Until next time, happy shaving, everyone. Enjoy the rest of summer. Take care. Be safe. Till next time.